I watched her walk across that stage, her hands just slightly shaking as she took the diploma. There was this quiet pride in her eyes. This was her moment, the one she'd worked so incredibly hard for. The culmination of all those late nights, all that research, and every single sacrifice. But standing there, I couldn't help but feel like a ghost at her side. She looked radiant, of course. She always did when the world was watching. She has that kind of presence, you know? The kind that demands attention, that just fills up any room she steps into. She was never afraid to stand out, and graduation day was no exception. Her smile, as she posed for the photographers, felt like it was meant for everyone but me. The ceremony itself was really just a formality. Everyone was there to celebrate her. Her family, her friends, her colleagues, but not me. I was just the man who helped her get there, quietly and unnoticed, like I was just part of the background scenery. After it was all over, we stood together in the lobby, surrounded by congratulations and polite applause. She was completely caught up in the flurry of well wishes, a sea of people praising her accomplishments, asking about the next big step in her career. And there I was, just waiting for that moment when she would finally remember me. The person who had been with her, silently supporting her for years. The one who had set aside his own dreams and ambitions to help make hers a reality. But that moment never came. Instead, she handed me an envelope. I just looked at it for a second before opening it. Inside were the divorce papers, neatly signed. Everything already set in motion. She didn't even look at me when she handed them over. Her eyes were already moving on to the next person, the next conversation, the next phase of her life. I couldn't bring myself to say anything. There was no need. She had made her decision. The woman who had once called me her partner, the one who had shared all her dreams with me, was now handing me the end to everything we had built together. It wasn't out of anger or spite. It was with the same detachment she'd shown when she was climbing to the top, leaving me in her wake. I signed the papers right then and there. I didn't say anything either. There were no harsh words, no accusations. Honestly, there was nothing left to say. She had been emotionally gone long before this moment. I had just been too blind to see it. I left the ceremony quietly, without making a scene, without a single glance back. I didn't need to. I didn't need her approval, her explanation, or her apology. I had already let go. The following days were just a blur. I packed my things, took what was mine, and moved out. There was no argument, no debate, no resistance. I didn't need to fight for something that had already slipped away. I didn't need her permission to start over. The divorce was finalized quickly. She had what she wanted, and I had the freedom to reclaim what I'd lost. The weeks passed, and I didn't look back. I started focusing on my own life again, on the things I had put aside for so many years. I picked up old hobbies, rekindled friendships I had neglected. I began to live for myself in a way I hadn't done in a very long time. The pain of it all started to fade, replaced by something much quieter, peace, the kind of peace that comes when you stop holding on to something that was never really yours to begin with. Months later, she reached out. A message, then a call, an attempt to reconnect, to explain herself, to offer some kind of closure. I never responded. I had already given myself the closure I needed when I signed those papers, when I walked away without begging, when I found the strength to let go of someone who had already moved on. Sometimes people leave. Sometimes they move on before you even realize it. But in the end, you realize that the strength you need isn't to hold on to them. It's to let go. And that's exactly what I did. I let go, and I never looked back. Thanks for listening. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more.